Coach, I always feel like there's a thousand different ways that I can ask a strength coach how he would go about with training an athlete versus looking at an athlete's makeup and how he wants to get stronger, or quicker, or agile, or just how it all works. For you, what is kind of your method? What do you look for from from the athletes when you're working with them? Is it more recovery based? Is it getting stronger? Like, is it all just part of a bigger package?
It's a great question. Um, so this profession, it's expanded over the years. I mean, you go back from one of the first strength coaches from Nebraska. His methodology was different. Well, what I believe in, what I've grown up in, is human development is everything. So it's not just X's and O's and bench press and squats, right? So it's all encompassing. It's mental, physical, emotional, spiritual. Human development is something that these athletes need, and it's generational as well. So how can we implement training all these aspects that they need and delivering it in a unique way? So I'm all about the delivery. So we make it fun. I don't know if you've talked to any of the players yet. It's we've loved the integration so far, and it's going to be tough. It's going to be built on love, and we're going to compete. So every day they're competing against somebody. So from the very first day on Monday, they know their matchups too. So we talk trash all week, and so they know. We post it on Friday. So like, hey, Dennis, you're going against Phil next week, and all of a sudden, here we go. They start chirping at each other, and then, or all of a sudden, they get really quiet around each other because they know it's like, I'm going to be competing against you all week. So it's everything that we believe in. From the head coach and I are on the same page in terms of, how we do it, because it's not what you do, is about how you do it. So we're on the same page from that aspect. So our delivery is going to be authentic and genuine, and more importantly, catered to where every athlete's at, because I got to meet them where they're at. So some players come in and they're completely developed. It's or they're more ahead than others. So we got to be able to identify that and create a program for them. And through all of our high needs and our extra work that we dedicate for them specifically, we'll be able to do that. So if that answers your question.
I was going to ask, because I know all strength coaches usually the guys who get to have the most fun sometimes.
Oh, it's amazing.
If you had anything in store for those guys.
Oh, we just finished out our winter program on Friday, and it was awesome. We integrated 2 weeks of. We progressed them accordingly for the first 2 weeks, got their legs underneath them, because I had to realize that they came off a bowl game, so it's not like we can go. You want to give them some time to recuperate and rejuvenate and mentally prepare for this. But we came in, we didn't lay down the hammer at all. We wanted to integrate the right way. We're not the Coach Halfley and I. We're not the ones that are going to come in here and flip over the table. We talked to them. We expressed what we wanted, and we were very clear in what we wanted, and we just talked to them, and they executed. So it was unbelievable. And so we had a really good winter phase. And right now we're actually transitioning into our, obviously, spring ball. But the first half of this week is dedicated to our BC Combine. So on Wednesday, we're going to actually execute a NFL-style combine here at BC. So they're gonna run, test. Today they did measurements and orientation type activities. So we're prepping them for when their time comes to go to the combine, that their arrival date in Indy looks like this. The interviews, the medical screenings, the physicals, then more interviews, and then what day 2 looks like and day 3 looks like. And then all of a sudden, you don't do physical activity at the combine until your last 2 days there. So you do your bench press and all your medical clearings and screenings and whatnot. And then the last day you're doing position drills. So we're literally prepping them almost identical to the NFL combine, even here, 2020, what they're going to be doing here at the this week coming up. So it's kind of cool that we can do this with them, and then they can sit on their couch at home and watch the combine and they go over every single drill on how we taught them and how we taught the steps, how we taught the progressions, and what they're looking at these future NFL talent execute at the combine.
When you're designing a program, do you kind of do it by position, like this program for defensive backs, this program from offensive linemen, and just tell me how you do that? You know, how you break
Yeah, it's a great question. Everything's based off relative strength for me. So as we roll out a program, we got to get good at the basics, basic movements. Um, in order for you to progress, you have to meet a standard benchmark. So for offensive linemen, if you can't squat, your body weight for front squat, your body weight for anywhere from 5 to 8 repetitions, you're not going to back squat. You're not cleared for that. So it's almost individual based. So you won't come into our weight room and see a barbell loaded with 500 or 600 pounds on the bar, because I don't believe that's the right method. Like, obviously, if you can progress up to that, absolutely, by all means. In terms of individual workouts for individual players, we have that on the back end and integrated into the majority of our block work. So as soon as we develop and identify what risks we have, then I'll be able to cater and identify to what athlete has what kind of work. But we're going to progress everything accordingly. If you're not ready for it, you're not going to do it. And it all goes back to a personal level of care. So it's kind of what we talked about last week, which is, if you care about it, you're going to invest more time in it, right? So if you really care about your Twitter, you're probably on it a lot, and you're probably tweeting a lot and retweeting a lot. But your personal level of care is a direct correlation to your percentage of success and personal growth. So for you as a football player, if you don't really care about football, we'll be able to identify that, because you're not investing in yourself. You're not investing in your teammate. You're not investing in your position group. And most importantly, you're not investing in the team.
Okay, the field house is only a couple of years old. Does it have everything in there that you need?
That facility is beautiful. You guys did a heck of a job with that. So that indoor is having that right connected to the weight room is huge. It's huge. We can start stations. We can start all our field work, and there's no transition time. And those little pellets, they don't come in the weight room, so I'm good with that.
It's one of the most important relationships you have from the start is sports medicine with the school too.
Yes. So my integration, it's something that it either goes past you or you're involved in it as soon as you get to a certain location. So when you go to a new school, and this is for any coach, any sport coach, or anybody, my integration process was people and then paper. So everything that had to do with people, I met with. So everyone from Matt Conway to Steve Bushy, and every person that was going to be in contact with our players, I met with them, and then I handled paperwork on the back end. So that's probably one of the biggest things, and I'm glad I've kind of honed in on what's important, especially for that start date, because you only get one start date here at BC. And that, for me, that was January 7th. So I had to maximize time and do it efficiently and make sure I did it the right way.
Is the BC Combine, the team combine, was that something, do you know that they had done here before, or is that something you implemented? Or how
I'm not sure if they've done it before. It's something that I implemented back at Villanova when I was there, and it's kind of now involved to, if we can do this, it was very fortunate that we could do it at the time that we are doing it, because the combine's coming up and we have obviously spring ball this week. But allowing us to do it now before it even hits, that's even better, because our players can literally, Christian Mahogany can sit there on his couch, hopefully not with a bag of Doritos or anything, and watch the combine and review what we taught him. So it was like, hey, Christian, hey, this guy was doing triples, double singles. You see that? Or he took 3 steps instead of 2, or he didn't have a left-handed start. So just all those little things, because I'm a firm believer. As soon as you step on campus, you're preparing for that day. You're preparing for that moment. So for us as a strength staff, if we don't integrate that, we don't prepare for that, what are you really preparing for? you're not setting this kid up for success. And all of a sudden you have a product of BC that came in there and didn't test well at the combine. Well, heads are going to turn. They're going to look at the head coach, position coach, and ultimately that strength and conditioning coach, that performance coach. So right now with Kevin Pine, Andre Hines, and Taji Johnson, guess what? We got 4 or 5 years to prepare you guys for that time if it so happens to come. Because if it does come, you will be prepared. So, this week's conversation to them was trust and confidence. They got to be confident in their abilities because we've done every single combine drill dozens of times. So when you go out there, it's a simple mental approach. Your mental reps, you've already done those. It's you closing your eyes and picturing yourself doing the pro agility and 3-cone. It's no different than you closing your eyes and mentally preparing yourself on the field and doing that rep. And then it goes from mental reps to your practice reps. So our guys have done essentially a submaximal test protocol where it mimics the 225. So they've been there, they've done that. And all of a sudden when it comes time to actually do the game reps, they've been prepared for it. So
What sparked
Let's
the
take the last question. Sorry.
I'm just curious about it just seems like a neat idea. What sparked the idea for it, and then was it for a team combine day, and then was it something you kept up at Ohio State, and how did you even come up with the idea to mirror the entire process?
We did a combine day at Ohio State, but it was more group based. My protocol here it's very similar to the NFL combine. So we'll have, it literally starts from 6 a.m. to 10:20 a.m. And so the very first group is O-line. There's a group of O-linemen, and they're the young ones. At 6:20, the old ones come. And so they kind of trickle in every 20 minutes, allows them to warm up. Very similar to the NFL combine. You're going to see guys put their hoods up and their earbuds in, and then they go warm up how they want to warm up. And then all of a sudden they go through these drills. So we'll start off we'll do 10s and 20s yard test, and then we'll go right to vertical jump. It's going to look very similar to the NFL combine, except there's going to be a BC backdrop instead of NFL combine backdrop. And then they're going to go right to a broad jump, and the lines are going to be painted on the field just like in Indy. And then they're going to go pro agility, 3-cone, and 60-yard shuttle. And then they go do position drills just like they do at the combine. The day before, they'll do their 225 test because that's how it's structured. So tomorrow they have 225 test. So